Fife Property Market Update, and this is for the week commencing the 16th to the 22nd of November. Can you believe it? We are literally nearly over November. Like, how quick has this month gone? It feels like it was only yesterday that I was doing the monthly roundup for October, and not long I'll be doing the monthly roundup for November. We are flying through the weeks and the months, but do you know what that means? It allows us to gather more data and really look at the facts. And that is what this show is great for. We do a run through of what was happening last week in Fife. So this is all agencies that use Rightmove across Fife. We'll then do a roundup of what we were doing in particular as an agency. And then we'll also do a run through of the shows that have taken place so you can know what to go back and rewatch. So this is where we're going to start with last week's figures. Now, as always with this show, feel free to put any comments or questions or anything at all, and we will come back to you. Even if you're not watching it live, you can still put comments and we will come back to you. But this gives you a great insight. Now, what we always do say is 1 week does not make a trend. However, the monthly roundup does. So you can either go back and watch a couple of weeks' show and you'll see the October roundup, or you can wait and it'll not be long, as I say, and we'll be doing the November one. But let's take a look at last week's figures. So this is where we look at all agencies across the different micro regions that advertise on Rightmove. And this is your new instructed properties, so new listings that hit the market last week versus properties that had offers accepted on them and are now shown as sold subject to concluded missives. So as you can see, we break it down into micro regions. Now, straight off the bat, you will see there was only 91 properties that hit the market. However, 114 properties sold. That means there was 114 active buyers on the market last week alone. So where you keep hearing this scaremongering, because Perry and I will be getting it when we're going out to appointments, and it's, oh, now it's not a great time to sell, is it? Or, oh, my friends and family are just saying to wait till next year. This is why it is so important to look at the facts, do your homework, and don't get bogged down with that outside noise, because literally this shows you here there was more buyers on the market and more properties sold than what hit the market. So what does that mean for you as a seller? It means you're entering the market when there is less competition, but there is still buyers out there, which is absolutely fantastic because they have less choice, which tends to mean when they have less choice, they move quicker and they show almost their best hand. They put their best foot forward because they know they have limited options just now because there is less stock hitting the market. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, okay, Sophie, this is just last week. But actually, if you are a regular to these shows, you will maybe have an understanding that last week, when I did the show for the week previous, there was 89 new properties hit the market versus 123 properties sold. So we had a week with 89 versus 123, and then last week at 91 versus 114. So actually, that just shows you, yes, there is less stock hitting the market, but your buyers are still out there. We are still in triple figures of buyers for 1 week alone in Fife, which is fantastic to see. So if you are interested in selling and you think that you now need to wait till spring, summer next year, absolutely not. Now is the time to go. There is less properties on the market, but your buyers are still out there. And it's not just me that's saying this, and this is where it's great for this show because you can literally see it in black and white or black and yellow, but you can see in black and white that this is a fantastic time to enter the marketplace. Now, as you can see, it's broken down into micro regions. 9 properties instructed within Cooper versus 7 properties sold. 2 instructions in the East Neuk. However, 9 properties sold, which is a fantastic number. Average for the East Neuk is normally around 5 or 6. So actually, to have 9 in the East Neuk just last week is a fantastic result. St Andrews, 1 instructed versus 10 sold. And this is the exact same story that I was telling last week. It was the exact same where there was a lot less instructions in St Andrews, but more properties sold, which is what we need for St Andrews. And if you are a regular to this show, I apologize because you know what I'm going to speak about. But the KY16 market has been a tough market for a long time now. However, what we are seeing is more properties are starting to go over the line. We are starting to work through that backlog. Yes, slowly, because there is a lot there. An average selling time can be anything from 5 to 6 months. However, we are working our way through that stock. So for 10 properties in the KY16 postcode to sell last week is a fantastic result, because what's great to see is, yes, there was only one new instruction, but it doesn't mean that we're selling those properties in the exact same hit in the market, so we're not getting anywhere. It means we are working through that backlog. So it means the older, potentially sticky stock is starting to go over the line, which honestly is fantastic to see, because there is a lot to work through. Now, granted, within obviously those 10, there will be some of any new instructions, even if they were just from last week or the week prior, that is still fresh. It's still great that these are going over the line. But this is where, for the St Andrews market, it is key to enter the marketplace at one, a realistic pricing. You need your agent to be strategic with your pricing. Two, your agent needs to understand the St Andrews market. They need to understand how it's been performing and actually what contributing factors has caused the market to be in the current position and way that it is just now. You then need an agent as well that is going to get you that reach, because it's not just the St Andrews people that are buying within St Andrews. They are coming from out with Fife, out with Scotland, out with the UK. So what is your agent doing to trigger that reach and capture that audience? And then also, what are they doing to really showcase that property and maximize its full potential when there is a lot of stock on the market? And that is what a good local estate agent will do for you. So if you are looking to sell within the KY16 postcode, you seriously need to do your homework. And like we always say, interview your estate agent. That is my piece of advice to you. And actually, can they give you information like this? Could they tell you how the market's performing? Could they tell you what stock's been hitting the market and what has been selling? That is the key here. Levenmouth, 3 versus 7. Great to see there was still 7 buyers on the market. Granted, 3 is slightly less instructions for Levenmouth, but it is just the 1 week. Still 7 buyers, which is great to see. Dunfermline, again, if you're a regular, you know what I'm about to say. The Dunfermline market is a lot different to the rest of the micro regions in Fife. It has a lot higher transaction number and the volume is always higher. Granted, it is normally in the 50s, 60s, so it's slightly dropped to your 40s, but it's not an alarming drop. It's nothing to be concerned about, because they still do have high transaction numbers. Glenrothes, 11 versus 9. So great to see there was double figures of instructed, slightly less on the properties that have sold. However, what I will say is last week alone, there was 3 new builds that hit the market available. But the thing with new builds is we never know when they've had an offer accepted. So actually, there could be a potential of 3 new builds hit, and actually they have now gone under offer. This is obviously me just speaking hypothetical, looking at the figures, but that could then back up and obviously add up to there being more properties sold in the Glenrothes area. Kirkcaldy, so 25 versus 30, so more properties sold than what was instructed. Kirkcaldy does have a lot of stock, and you'll see that if you have the alert set, you'll see how many new instructions do hit the Kirkcaldy market. Again, it is a high transaction area, but actually 25 and 30 is a strong point to be, because they have been slightly less than that last week, so it's picked up again. But overall, it's 91 instructed versus 114 sold. If that doesn't tell you that now is a good time to sell, I don't know what will. But if you do want to discuss this in further detail, pick up the phone and reach out to us, speak to one of the agents or message us privately. We would love to chat with you to discuss your specific area and what obviously we can do to help you get moved on in your journey. But as I say, that was last week's figures. So let's do a run through of what we were doing in particular as an agency last week. So we will start with properties that we have accepted offers on. So we'll pull the first one up for you. So this is the first property that we accepted an offer on. It was Kirklands Park in Cooper. This one was a fantastic property. It was a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, extended, detached family home. Moving condition. It had really open, spacious living space area, extensive garden. As you can see, it's got a large driveway, so you get multiple vehicles on the front. And what was great is actually you went upstairs and there was more bedroom space. And then actually I had this fantastic attic that when I went out to value this property, I wasn't expecting to walk into the size of attic, which might sound daft looking at this, but if you either viewed this property or you've looked through the listing pictures, you would maybe understand why I'm saying that. But it would make an absolutely fantastic master bedroom with an ensuite walk-in wardrobe. The buyer of this property is planning on turning it into a big, massive dressing room come walk-in wardrobe. And when I tell you, when they were talking me through the plans, I was jealous. I was absolutely jealous because it's going to be fantastic in that space. But it is a fantastic family home, really spacious. What's great with this home is the rooms you can really use for multi-use. So one of the bedrooms perhaps could be a children's playroom for the reception room. One could be a home office study. There's a one-level living element, so it really is a future-proof home. So it really did tick all the boxes. And this was on the market for offers over 300,000. Now, as always with our new sold properties, we can't disclose what they went for. You'll need to continue to watch these shows to get that information. However, this did go over home report value, and it was fantastic to get this one over the line. Buyer is delighted that they're upsizing and getting this fantastic family home. Likewise, seller is delighted that they're able to move on with their journey. Next one, and actually this was speaking of St Andrews so much, this was a St Andrews property that we sold, and this was Kilryman Road. This particular property was a 3-bedroom semi-detached elevated plot. You have a driveway, garden to the rear that's not overlooked whatsoever, and actually you can't see it because it's hidden behind this wee hedge just here, but there was a garage that's been converted. Currently, it's being utilised as like a home office study area. It'd be fantastic if you have a business and you operate from home, or if you want a really spacious study area to keep out of the house, or perhaps just an additional living space. There was a lots of different feedback of what people would use it for, but it was a fantastic addition that you wouldn't be expecting from standing outside this property on the street. Really spacious rooms upstairs as well. Now, this was on the market for offers over 290,000. New owner is delighted to be moving into St Andrews, and obviously they're going to get a completely different lifestyle. Likewise, the buyer is delighted to get this one over the line. So that is what we accepted offers on last week. So we will talk about what we have got coming soon. So this is properties that Perry and I have been out to value and are going to be coming to market with us, and will shortly be at pre-portal stage. Now, if you're new to Fife Properties or new to our marketing strategy and you don't know what that means, what it basically is we hit social media. So the same day or the day after that the home report's done, we do a full video walkthrough and launch on our social media pages, which is why it is absolutely key that you follow all of our Facebook pages, especially in the areas that you're looking to purchase property. You will then see that agent does a full video walkthrough. So we start outside at the front of the property, head inside, do a really in-depth video walkthrough. It's almost like a virtual viewing. You're seeing everything. We talk you through the features. We talk you through if there's further potential development plans. We then head outside, show you all of the outdoor space. We then talk to you about the location. So you don't need to go and find any of that information out for yourself. We put it all in that one video. Then we tell you the price point that we predict this property to come to market at. Now, if that pre-portal video ticks your boxes in that house, looks like your new home, you need to reach out to us. If you can make our seller an offer that they just cannot refuse before it does go to your Rightmove, your Zoopla, and your S1 Homes, and you need to pick up the phone and reach out to us, you have a small window of time where that property is on social media at pre-portal stage. And if it does tick your boxes and you can make our seller an offer that they can't refuse, you could potentially secure that property before it does go to the wider audience and you have further competition. So make sure you're following the social media pages, watch the video, and make sure you watch it right through to the end, because people always comment saying, what's the price point? And if you watch it right to the end, Perry and I always tell you the price point. And then if it does tick your boxes, get in touch. Whether you message, whether you call, whether you email, do what you need to do to get in touch, but act fast. We can secure you a viewing and potentially get you your new home before anybody else sees it on your Rightmove, your Zoopla, and your S1 Homes. If you do have any questions on that, or you want to discuss it in a bit more detail, again, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to talk you through that process and how you can get yourself market ready and put yourself in that best position. But the first property that we have that will be coming soon is Anfield in King's Kettle. Now, actually, for those that perhaps don't know, it's actually just on the outskirts of King's Kettle. Fantastic location, tucked away, lovely and private. You don't realise it's there until you actually drive along the lane. You've got stunning views actually over King's Kettle and beyond. And it's a fantastic family home. So it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-reception, detached property with a double garage that is actually, the upper level is completely floored, so you could convert it, whether it be you want to do an Airbnb and do short-term let, whether you perhaps have teenagers or older children that you want to give them that independence and give them their own space, but they're still kind of close by. Or if you just want to do a working from home, big studio, craft, workshop area, you have got the potential. So it's a double garage with the complete exact same footprint above that's completely floored and boarded. So fantastic. It's on about 0.5 worth of acres, so great plot size, driveway, and it really is a fantastic family home. I am due to do the pre-portal for that one on Friday, so keep a lookout. It will be on our Cooper page on Friday. Fingers crossed for the weather. So keep a lookout for that one. And then another property that we have coming soon is a property in Anstruther. Now this is a property that we sold last year, actually. So we've got a brilliant history on the property. We know it inside out. We know its journey. We also know the new seller's journey. So we're excited to have this back on our books and get it sold once again. Now, this property, it is in a great development area. Again, it's tucked away nice and private. With this particular property, you actually get a parking space, which, you know, sometimes with East Neuk, it lacks. You actually do get a parking space. What's great with this home is you are moving condition, not a thing that you need to do to it. And there is the potential as well for the right offer to negotiate the furniture. So if you're perhaps looking for an investment in the East Neuk landlord, whether you're wanting to do short-term let, you could for the right offer negotiate it fully furnished as well, making it nice and easy. It's moving condition, ready to go. You've got a lovely view as well from because it's got an open plan living dining with like a Juliet balcony almost. You see right over the rooftops and right to the harbour and the Firth of Forth. You have a galley kitchen. You then have your bedroom spaces and also a bathroom. So it's a 2-bedroom and it is a fantastic property. As I say, moving condition with the fantastic benefit of a parking space. So that one will be coming shortly as well on the East Neuk page, and that is in Anstruther. Fantastic location. Maybe by the little snippets that I've told you, you could try and figure out or suss where exactly this property is. Now, it is situated along the Crail Road. Doesn't mean to say it's on the Crail Road, but you do have to go along the Crail Road. So let's see if anybody can guess where this property might be. So that is our activity for Fife Properties last week. Before we end the show, let's do a roundup of the shows that have taken place so you know what to go back and watch. Now, as always, you have the Wealth Creation Show. Now, this is where you have Jim Parker, one of the UK's most successful property investors, and Richard Cook, the Lettings Director, on hand discussing. And yesterday they were live, as always, Monday, 12:30 live. And yesterday they were doing the Power of Association. Association, that is the company that you keep and actually how much time you spend with them. And that all plays a really important part in what you become in life. They could perhaps be friends, acquaintances, family members, work colleagues, but the power of association means the people around you that have an influence on you. And it is increasingly recognized that the power of association plays a vital role in shaping our career trajectory and the overall future of ourselves. Now, they do say you become more like the people that you spend time with. As I say, Jim and Richard were on hand discussing that yesterday. Yes, it was live, but you can still go back and watch the rerun. Likewise, you can put any comments, questions, or anything at all in the post. Another show that was taking place, and actually this is great if you are perhaps a landlord or you're actually looking to start a portfolio and become a new landlord, and it was all about long-lasting lettings and how to cultivate enduring tenant ties. So it costs you money whenever a tenant moves out, from the lost income of those void empty periods to upfront costs like wear and tear and new referencing fees, which makes long-lasting lettings a savvy goal to aim towards. Now, every landlord's dream is to rent their property to someone who treats it like their own, pays on time, and provides an uninterrupted income stream. Let's face it, that's why you enter obviously into this line of industry. And ideally for years on end, you have that tenant. However, this doesn't just happen by luck. Cultivating a high value forever tenant is ideally down to combining legal compliance with personal diligence to forge a strong and mutually beneficial partnership. So actually, you have Richard Cook again, the lettings director, and Karen Marshall, the lettings agent, on hand discussing that. If obviously this sounds like something that appeals to you, again, put questions or comments. Likewise, if you have any case studies, share it in the comments, and they would be delighted to hear from you and perhaps help you with anything that you do need. But that is us for another weekly update. I will see you next Tuesday to do another one. In the meantime, if you have anything at all, feel free to reach out to us. But all the best. Take care.